Hey Warpugs, today we're going to be checking out something a little bit different. This is the first request on the other request channel, and on a day like today I felt like doing the oldest request on the channel. The oldest ones. And today we're doing the incredible world of the Birrin, and it looks like it's part of a series, but we're just going to check out the first one. We might get into the other parts later. But this was requested by, and I'm not kidding, this person's Discord tag is, I wanna bang a robot person. Congratulations, sir. This is the Incredible World of the Birrin Part 1. And I do not quite know what to expect, but the tagline of the thumbnail says alien biology. So this, I always like dealing with anything that deals with just, I don't know, what would you say? Theory crafting or speculation of things of the unknown. I always like that stuff. So this is going to be kind of right up my alley. I don't know what Beeran is, but let's find out. Here we go.
Vast unknown of space.
Oh, by the way, sorry. This is done by Curious Archive. Let's go.
Alien life may be waiting for us, but these species, even if they're carbon-based like we are, probably won't be the familiar humanoids present in many stories, but organisms which are truly, well, alien.
Yeah.
The surreal designs you see before you are the work of Alex Reese, an artist who strives to imagine aliens with genuinely unique appearances. He also worked behind the scenes on the various aliens of the video game Subnautica. Alex Reese is an awesome designer and world builder, and I have links to where you can follow and support him in this video's description. And Alex Reese's magnum opus of world building is his Birrin project, a saga exploring the world of an intelligent species called the Beeran. So much of this world has been fleshed out, from the geography to the history to biology to the culture, and it's all so inventive and so detailed that it's going to be a challenge to explore everything in just one video.
Right.
So I'll be splitting this entry into the archive into two full parts, with this part covering the early stages of Birrin civilization. So let's get started and begin our deep dive into an incredible alien world.
Okay.
The saga takes place on the planet Creara. This planet is Earth-like in size and density and features a similar gaseous mixture in the atmosphere. The planet is more oceanic than our world, however, with a higher relative ratio.
So basically, this is somebody's invented world. I dig it. Let's go.
Of water to landmass. The planet is orbited by Creara, a moon much like the one which revolves around the Earth. The planet Creara is also orbited by Mail, a smaller stellar object which is essentially an asteroid caught in the gravitational pull of the planet's moon. Alex imagines Creara as a dry hothouse, much warmer across the globe than the average temperatures on Earth. Those red spots on the planet might look like harsh environments, but that color is actually coming from this world's equivalent of plant life. Just like how our green plants change the appearance of Earth when viewed from space.
Okay.
The predominantly red plants of Creara suggest the star it orbits gives off more green and blue light than our own, and the plants have adapted colors to better absorb that light. The planet's temperature also means it lacks polar ice caps like Earth has. This has a strong effect on the planet's jet stream and oceanic currents.
It would.
Our storms are small in comparison to the meteorological surges that occur on Creara, which is frequently ravaged by tsunamis and tropical cyclones. If you look closely at the map, you'll see all land masses, oceans, and even smaller geographical features have their own name, an awesome level of detailed world building. Due to Birrin activity, much of the planet's middle region eventually becomes a superheated wasteland, although we'll talk more about this disaster at the end of the video.
Okay.
For now, let's discuss the Birrin themselves and how they first evolved. Alex Reese breaks down how the long-extinct basket worms are an early predecessor to the Birrin, featuring a primitive version of their four-lobed mouth and simple eyes that eventually became the complex Birrin eye stalks, an impressive level of world building. And modern Birrin bodies are insanely complicated. The biology of the species is so different from our own, it might be difficult at a glance to determine where a Birrin starts and where it ends. The Birrin are hexapods, or six-limbed species, 4 limbs used for movement and 2 used for manipulation. In size, they are roughly comparable to deer, although their brain power is analogous to a human's. Here you can see further details of a Birrin's head. Birrin have 4 eyes at the end of stalks, which allows them to perceive 4 distinct visual fields. Beeran can also retract their eye stalks for protection while under threat. You can also see
Okay.
Beeran mainly breathe through apertures near their eyes called spiracles, which are analogous to the openings which lead to the respiratory systems of Earth organisms like manta rays. Beeran mouths are also quite shocking at a glance,
Oh, hell no. No, let's not do this.
possessing 4 lobes like all of the quadrilaterians on this planet, and a menacing internal beak-like structure that suits their carnivorous diet. Birrin also have specialized body parts called wings, although they aren't actually for the purpose of flight, but are in fact specialized organs to shed heat and communicate with one another. Going into greater detail with Birrin biology,
Okay.
Alex Reese has even mapped out how the Birrin run, with a complete cycle showing the biomechanics of their locomotion. As a side note, this visual reminds me of the famous 19th century photo series The Horse in Motion. Here, we also have a glimpse of baby Birrin, which are small and covered in a layer of fuzz like newborn chicks. Unlike baby birds, however, this fuzz won't ever form into feathers. Instead, the short hair on a baby Birrin is to protect them from parasites in the tropical climate where their species evolve. The plate-like growths around the base of each eye stalk serve a similar protective purpose. While these adaptations are not as useful after the Birrin industrialized, they were vital when the Birrin, which are an egg-laying species, lived in vulnerable nesting units before the dawn of civilization. The dynamics of prehistoric Birrin social groups were highly complex, and something Alex Reese breaks down in various infographics. Inventive stuff. Beyond the Birrin,
There is so much in this, I can already tell. This guy went all out on this, and I approve. If you're going to go on something, ball out. Just ball out.
whole ecosystem of unique life forms which have evolved alongside them. Most of the complex life on planet Creara have evolved a similar 4-sided mouth and eye structure due to the widespread success of early species like the basket worms. The wave dancer is a mid-sized flying predator not unlike a bird on Earth. The species hunts by gliding over the water, searching for prey with their lower eyes, then pitching up and diving down quickly into the ocean to catch aquatic animals, a strategy similar to some seabirds on our planet. Under the waves, various organisms propagate, including the enormous sardu, a dolphin-like creature that can stun prey with powerful electric shocks from organs housed in their elongated horizontal jaws. Aside from these giants of the sea, in deeper waters lurks the cloakmouth.
Okay, what the hell is that? Okay? No. No.
Terrifying predator from deep in Creara's oceans.
It looks like it's going, hey, you guys, and I don't want to know what happens when it hits the end of his sentence, okay? That looks like it could be abnormally painful.
This species draws in prey with the luminescent lure in the center of its mouth, then clamps its massive jaws around them. Another frightening animal within the oceans of planet Creara is the reef antler worm, a marine predator that hides within the aquatic debris waiting for prey, then lunges out and lashes onto the unlucky victim, pulling
my
it
God.
into its massive jaws.
It's like a
Certainly
massive-
not as
It's, what is that? It's a specific type of invertebrate. I can't wrap my head around what it's called right now, and I'm actually going to beat myself among the head and chest. But I've seen something like this in nature, so yeah.
a species you'd want to encounter. On
No.
land, one predator which evolved from the same stock as the Birrin is the pseudoraptor, a species that lives on arid plains and brings down grazing creatures by latching onto their hides with those deadly-looking curved claws at the tips of their forearms. Another intimidating species. And finally, there are also the giants, a second intelligent species on planet Creara,
Okay.
who are distant relatives of the smaller, more intelligent Birrin. The giant's intelligence is somewhere between that of a parrot, which for the record are quite smart,
Yes,
and a
they are.
human. In sheer size, the giants are close to an Earth Hadrosaurus. While you can probably imagine the giants and the Birrin have a long and often complicated history, the giants are relatively peaceful and mostly prefer to be left alone. Here, Alex Reese imagines a young Birrin observing a giant, holding their wings flat to their body in a sign of awe, and the giant seems to accept this gesture of goodwill. Moving from biology to early history, as the dominant species on planet Creara, the Birrin have a long and detailed past. These ruins of an ancient gate represent the height of pre-industrial Birrin civilization. The massive twin statues showcase the might of a Birrin empire now lost to time. As the centuries passed, Birrin culture would become more advanced. Here's an image of Birrin from the southern Che nations, in a relaxing inner sanctum with the walls painted a calming, meditative blue to create an air of tranquility. In particular, I really like the seats present in this image, as they're well adapted for the comfort of something shaped like a Birrin. Eventually, Birrin society would industrialize, learning that the masses of dead plants which make up the planet's coastal forest regions could be made into a fuel. The Birrin used this fuel to power seafaring vessels like the one you see here, designed to cut through the mat of vegetation in the float forest. And like our own history, as Birrin civilization becomes more and more modern, crises and clashes between different groups arose. Here, a group of displaced Birrin battle against the armored warrior Birrin, forcing them out of the region where they live. A grim scene indeed. Yet beyond the suffering on the ground, at the height of this first age of Birrin technological complexity, the species created this unique vessel, called the Spear, to venture out beyond their solar system. This incredible complex machine took a
This is really, really thought out.
half-century to complete. Yet, as the Spear drifted among the outer planets, back on Creara, Birrin civilization was truly collapsing. After over 1,000 years of development, Creara, already hotter than Earth before the Birrin industrialized, is eventually pushed over the edge into an apocalyptic collapse called the Fall. Much of the planet became too hot to inhabit, with the region in red, called the Kiln, becoming an impassable barrier. In this world, technology is forgotten by the surviving North and South Birrin populations, which are completely cut off from one another. Vast ships are also left to rust on the dried seas within the Kiln, leaving behind a desolate, ruined landscape. At this point in time, it was unclear whether the Birrin civilization would ever recover. While the future of the Birrin is long and exceptional, that's all we have time for in this video, although I'll be back with a part 2 on Birrin civilization after the fall. In the meantime, I'd encourage you to check out more of Alex Reese's outstanding work. Once again, links are in the description. Alex Reese is also planning to release a full book about this incredible world sometime in the future, so stay tuned for that. Also, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this entry, please lend your support, and like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon to stay up to date on all things curious.
This has been completely different. I did not know, I didn't know what to expect when I started this. I had no idea what to expect. But this was really, really interesting. I can't believe the amount of detail and artwork that went into this, and the amount of thought processes, because you can't just... of course, you can just, invent something, but you have to really do the time and effort to see how that would relate to other things within the world. But apparently this person put in that time and effort and envisioned a world that would be so radically different than ours, but than the same in so many ways. It's a whole different thing. I was expecting, some theory crafting, or not some really theory crafting, some speculation about, what life could be like on specific planets, but I didn't know this person had put together this entire world history from, Stone Age to Space Age and back again. This is actually very, very interesting. I wish I had more time, actually, so I could, really dig into this. I'm always a fan of things that I don't even have the slightest clue about. I like to learn about new things, especially things that interest me like this does. Now, granted, oh, wow. I'm going to back it up and look at some of this art. I love the fact that he puts so much thought into each and every single facet of their biology. As you can see here, sense of smell, hearing, how they actually behave, what they evolve from, everything of that nature. This guy thought of it all. I have to applaud this. This was actually extremely well done. And this is just one of those things that one of these days, I hope I have the time to sit down and learn something about this. In any case, guys, I gotta head off now. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. So, Well, I gotta head off now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check the links down below for all the links for my merchandise, for Patreon, Discord, everything like that. And check the links also because I'm going to be putting all of Curious Archives information down in the links below so you guys can go check out some more of his stuff. Until next time, guys, this was a work of passion. This entire world that got put together. Follow your passions. I'll catch you next time.